17th of June. Jonathan and Rachel on your radio. And time for us to go live on our Facebook page, YouTube, and others, because
it's time for Nico Kleynhans, exclusively on Breakfast with Friends.
This is one of the conversations that I'm really looking forward to. And I always look forward to hearing from Mr. Nico Kleynhans, because he always brings something valuable to Breakfast with Friends. So thank you. Thank you, Nico. But the whole thing of the real cost of your business dream. And we're going to be doing this part 1 today and part 2 next week, same time, same place. Nico, thank you.
Last week, I got 4 emails, and each email had one sentence in it. I want to start my own business. And that's why we're doing this series. This email is one that scares me the most, because I have to, on that one sentence, try and assess, is this a business that they're starting from scratch? Or is the listener going to buy into a franchise? Because that's quite an important difference as to the path that that listener is going to follow. And usually the listener will tell me, if I ask the question, have you registered a PTY Limited? And they're going to say yes. And that's the wrong answer. Because what tends to happen is the listener starts off by getting the PTY Limited registered.
Oh.
That involves costs.
Yeah.
It involves costs with CIPC. It involves costs with SARS. It involves costs with all kinds of legal entities. Then they realize how much work is involved, and often they spend the next 2 years thinking about it. Now, in those 2 years, the rules and regulations change. And when they're finally ready to start, the work they've done is now out of date. And SARS is upset because you didn't talk to SARS for 2 or 3 years. And CIPC upset because you didn't follow certain things that you were supposed to follow that you were not aware of. So now you're already on the back foot, and you already owe people money without even realizing that you owe them money, because the fact that you've registered and you didn't do anything doesn't mean you don't owe people money.
Ooh, whoa.
So we then have to get that concept explained and say, you need to go and catch up and see whether you're affected by some of the changes in regulations. And you've got to go and just catch up. Get somebody who knows what they're doing to get you registered properly, because if you do it, you're going to make mistakes. Use a professional. So now when they finally caught up with compliance, then I say, now we can begin to talk. Now, in our meet and greet meeting, and we do that via Zoom, the purpose for me is to try and get to understand what it is this client or this listener actually wants to do. And so I ask a couple of questions, and the first question would always be, how much are you and your family spending per month right now? And if you're starting your business, where are you going to get that money? Because you can't start a business and from day one start the business to provide the income.
Yeah.
You've got to work on the assumption that for the first 12 months, your business is not going to generate a surplus. So if you're going to start your business, where is your income going to come from for the first 12-month period? So if you're needing 30,000 rand a month right now, you're going to need 30,000 rand a month just for your personal expenses for the next 12 months. Then it starts getting a little more complicated, because now I'm saying, okay, how much capital do you need? Not monthly expenses. How much capital do you need? Or how much capital have you set aside for your business? So, and how did you calculate how much capital you're going to need? So that is how much you need for your staff salaries, your capital costs, the equipment, all those kind of things that your business is going to need. How did you calculate that? What did you take into account? What have you forgotten to take into account? So now you've got a picture of what that is going to be. And then I want to know further details. What do you estimate your business turnover is going to be in those first 12 months? Average it out for me. And of that turnover, how much do you think it's going to cost you to produce that turnover? So if you're going to bake, then what are those ingredients going to cost you to get the baking done? And then how are your clients or your customers going to find you? Are they just going to come running to you? Harvard, many years ago, I think 30 years ago, somebody wrote in one of their postgrad textbooks that if you invent a perfect mousetrap, people will find you. That's nonsense.
Absolutely.
You're up against the world in competition.
Yep.
How are people going to find you? Because advertising can be very expensive. And you're competing with a whole world of people following the same kind of product. How are they going to find you? And the worst scary answer for me is I'm going to sell to my friends.
Oh,
Because firstly, what are you going to do if your friends buy and don't pay? You're going to lose friends. And if you do sell to your friends, have you got enough friends that are going to justify
exactly.
getting your business going enough for you to actually replace your living costs plus the business costs?
Hmm.
So while these questions may seem daunting, the reality is, even if you were to start a franchise, statistically, within 1 year, only 20% of businesses will continue. It is a work. It is
hard work.
It is hard work.
Yeah.
And it's better to take a year to do your homework, get help if you don't have the help, and see where you're going. So here's the surprise. Do you know that there are dentists who are unemployed?
What?
Do you know there are doctors who are unemployed?
Huh?
Because when you go to a university and you study to become a doctor, they teach you everything you need to know about medicine.
And the human body and so forth, yeah.
But they don't teach you how to run a business or a medical practice.
That's, yeah.
The same as a dentist.
Yeah.
They'll teach you how to do what you're supposed to do,
Mm.
but they're not going to teach you how to set up a practice and how to run that. So if you're going to look at business, it's certainly more profitable than trying to work as an employee somewhere, but you're going to have to learn some extra skills. You're going to have to give yourself time to pick up those extra skills, but the journey is going to be far more profitable in the long run. So do your homework. Get the help you need. There are enough professionals out there who can coach you through the process and to get you to where you need to be. Next week, we'll go a little deeper and see where we get to then.
Nico, thank you so much. I think this is so on point because it's so easy. I know myself, I've so often thought, oh, what about this business? What about that? You know, I think there's a gap in the market for this, but you haven't gone and sat and said, okay, let's be real first about this in terms of that 80% of businesses fail within the first year. Why do they fail? I believe it's mostly because of poor planning. So, yeah, this is very good, very helpful. Ladies and gents, it's on our Facebook, it's on our YouTube. If you want to go and sit and listen to it again, share it with some friends. And then next week, we'll pick up the conversation and get into part 2 of this whole thing of starting your own business. Nico Kleynhans, thank you for your time and God bless you.
Thank you.